In this episode, I'm going to lay out for you why it's so important, maybe more important now than ever before, for us as parents to go above and beyond in showcasing what it means to be a good human. If you think being a dad is filled with rewards, challenges, or headaches, and you keep pushing forward because you know this is the most important job you're ever going to do, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Dad's All In podcast. Welcome to the Dad's All In podcast. I hope you're doing great. Your week has been amazing. Your family's healthy and doing awesome things. I'm just glad you're here, my friend. In this episode, I'm going to lay out for you why it's so important, maybe more important now than ever before, for us as parents to go above and beyond in showcasing what it means to be a good human. If you've listened to any of my content over the last few months, you know I'm a big believer in modeling behaviors for kids. When you show them what it is that you expect of them and it matches up with what you're telling them, that's when you get the biggest bang for your buck. But now, specifically in our society, the way things are shaking down, it's probably more important now than ever before. And I'm going to get into that and explain all of why I mean that in this episode. But first, let me thank you for listening to the audio-only form of this podcast. But I want to remind you, you can shoot over to YouTube, check out the Dad's All In Podcast YouTube channel, where you can get different content and get involved with the comments and just have good conversation there because we're all just trying to get better. So speaking of YouTube, a little bit ago I dropped a video, should we raise our kids to be Republicans or Democrats? And if you watch through that, you'll learn pretty quickly. My answer to that is really, it's up to you. You get to decide how you want to approach it. And actually, there's some parents who don't give away whether they're Republican or Democrat. My father-in-law is a retired Air Force sergeant, and like many of those who serve, and actually all of those who serve should have this standing, had an apolitical view. In other words, they're serving the country. They're not necessarily just serving the president, they're serving the country, and because of that, they hold an apolitical view, meaning they don't share whether they're Republican or Democrat. Now, I'm not telling you have to do that. What I am telling you is we all need a little bit of guidance on how we navigate these crazy political times, specifically as parents. The vast majority of us, at least somewhat, shed how we believe politically with our kids. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But one of my biggest issues is that because of the way our society is currently, in the current climate we have, there's a real division where Republicans are saying that Democrats are ruining the world and Democrats are saying Republicans are ruining the world. And now parents are also sharing that with their kids. I'll be honest with you, I am and have been for many years extremely disappointed in the behavior of those who are at the federal government. Regardless of what your policies are and your ideology and how you view how things should be done, I hope you can at least pause for a second and realize the importance of leadership. The importance of what you say as a leader is extremely important. I often say words matter, leadership matters, but words matter even more when you're in leadership. The reason? You have people that trust you and follow you. So they're assuming what you're giving them, the information you're telling them is truthful, it's honest. And for quite some time, both sides of the political landscape have had a hard time being honest and, maybe even worse than that, have been slinging all kinds of nastiness at each other. From telling each other that they hate them to all kinds of nasty names. Honestly, it's just not how adults are supposed to behave. It is absolutely how leaders should not be behaving. And that is the reason why we have to rise above all of it as parents. Because they're not going to get, meaning our kids are not going to get the best in role models from those who are in Washington. And that's not just one side of the table, that's both sides. And it has been for quite some time. Now, I'm not diving into my political views on this. I've thought for a long time we have a leadership challenge in our country. And it hasn't been for a long, long time since we've had leaders that goes beyond just one president, by the way. That is a whole leadership group in Washington working for the general public, working to pull everybody together as a united front. We've gone from at least trying it as a country to now we don't even try anymore. And worse yet, we just cast all kinds of nastiness to those who disagree with us. This is why it's more important now than ever for us as parents to showcase what it means to be a respectful human. Unfortunately, what happens when you have poor leadership that doesn't set a good tone, that doesn't show civil behavior, it sifts out into the general public. And now you have not just leaders in Washington struggling with this, you have leaders in your own community who are struggling with this. This may be something that you struggle with. Ask yourself, if you're a Democrat, what are your thoughts about those who are Republicans? And if you're a Republican, what are your thoughts about those who are Democrats? If the first thing that pops up is they're vile and evil, I want you to pause for a second and I want you to listen to this message, because I hope that's not the message you're giving to your kids. Your community is filled with Republicans and Democrats, and our kids go out into a school that is filled with kids who come from families from multiple political affiliations, multiple religious beliefs, multiple ideologies. And so the importance of us as parents sharing with them that you need to be respectful with others, even if you disagree, it can't be understated. And since it's not coming from our leaders at the federal level, and it's now not coming from those in our local communities in some cases, it has to come from you and I as parents. So here's a little background about me. Our family is unique in a wide variety of ways. And if you've gone back and listened to some episodes, I've shared a little bit about my immediate family and the challenges that my kids face, but that's not really what I'm getting at today. Today I'm getting at the fact that in our family, we have Republicans, we have Democrats, and we have independents. And you know what? I think that's pretty amazing. And I love them all. And my kids love them all. How could I, as a father, say you need to dislike certain family member just because they don't have the same political affiliation that we do? That's just absurd. And unfortunately, 10 years ago, well, maybe 15 years ago, people would have laughed at that idea. But here we are in 2025, and there is no denying that political affiliation has just split apart families, split apart friendships, split apart communities, as we've all kind of forgotten the importance of just being able to civilly disagree on certain things without thinking that we're horrific humans. One of the beauties of living in the United States is the diversity that we have within our people. Is it a challenge? Absolutely. But it's amazing to know that our country was founded with these ideals of freedom. Freedom of religious belief, freedom of speech. So when I think about all those things, I think about my family and how we exist. How is it possible that a family with Republicans, Democrats, and independents can actually exist? Here's how. I know they're all good people. I know they're all good people. We all make mistakes. We all have our flaws. We all have our warts and scars. But I know all these individuals in our family are still good people at heart. They're willing to help others. The best example I can give you is my brother. And I will tell you, my brother and I, we do not agree anywhere close on ideology for political affiliation, but that's okay. My brother works in medical field. He works every single day to help others who are in need. How could I say that he's not a good person just because he voted for somebody specifically? That's just ludicrous. But as a country as a whole, I think we've forgotten that we're not going to agree on everything. But what hopefully we can remember is that we need to be civil, we need to be respectful. If for any other reason, how about for our children? The most important thing we have in this entire world is not the car you're driving, it's not how amazing your house is, it's your kids, it's our children, it's our youth. That's the most important thing we have in this world. And we, as adults, are doing a lousy job of showing them how you exist in a world in a civil, functional society. So thanks for letting me rant a little bit there, but I wanted to share the backstory as to why I actually put that video out on YouTube and why I'm having this conversation with you today. Because if leadership is poor, we have to, as parents, rise above it and go above and beyond what we're showing our kids at home, what we're showcasing to our kids when we're out in the community. And that's what I want to talk about to wrap up here. Just some general pieces of advice that you can take with you moving forward. First, and this is not new. If you've been listening to me, you know this is how I tick. Your behavior needs to match up with what you're telling your kids. So start with showcasing respect for others. If somebody ticks you off when you're on the road and you're driving, instead of extending the number one fan salute, maybe you just give them a little grace. Maybe you just let them go on their way. Or at the very minimum, maybe you just try to express your frustration in a less aggressive manner. Or if you're in the community and somebody expresses a difference of opinion or just a different way of thinking that maybe you have, it's okay to let them talk and it's okay for you to listen. It doesn't mean you're less of a person. It actually means you're taking the higher road. This is all about trying to be a better beacon of light for your kids. We need to show them you can disagree but be civil. The best example I can give you is this. So I told you our family is unique by political stance, but it's also unique by religious stance as well. In our family, we have Christians, and that goes across multiple different denominations, and we have family members who are Jewish. And I'll go one step further to tell you that we have friends that are Muslim. And all of these people have positively impacted our kids. You know why? Because they're really good people, and they care about kids, and they care about our family, and they care about others. On my wife's side, her father's Jewish, and their family, some of them, were survivors of the Holocaust. And I remember sitting down with my wife's grandfather, and it was just him and I, and it was really the first time I'd ever met him. It was before my wife and I were even married, and he was telling me stories about what it meant to be 14 years old and flee your country, and your parents allowing you to go on your own in hopes that they would be able to escape one day. Like, that is bravery in the nth degree. And I was blown away by the things that he told me. And I was just amazed. And I didn't need to be Jewish to be amazed by this man. So much so that when we had our son, we decided to name his middle name after this gentleman. It's why my son's middle name is Henry. I don't need to be Jewish to know that that dude led an amazing life and impacted many. I think we get swept up in political ideology and religious ideology, and we lose focus of the fact that there can be people who believe differently than us, but can still be good people. So back to what I was originally saying, in order for us to rise above, we got to show this level of respect for others that disagree with us. And that means sometimes we got to figure out ways to regulate ourselves a little bit better. And the other thing I'll say is this, we need to showcase our compassion. As parents, our kids should see us being empathetic to others, especially those who are in need. Helping others, figuring out ways to help others, because if they see that in you, they're going to try to replicate it. Kids take their cues from their heroes, and like it or not, you are a leader. Like it or not, you're a hero until they find out otherwise. So if you can talk with your kids about the importance of being compassionate and empathetic and then showcase it in some way, it's really going to drive home the message. And I don't mean like show it once in a blue moon. I mean, when opportunities come over the course of years as you're a parent trying to show your kids being empathetic to others is a positive thing, it's going to then stick because they're watching. They're taking their cues from you. They are watching you. And they like to model behaviors whether we like it or not. A lot of times they're watching even when we're not expecting it. So there's my general thoughts for this week. It is disappointing that we have people in our society who have forgotten how to act as adults. And unfortunately, that means we've got to rise even higher, parents. We've got to showcase it. We've got to be a beacon of light for our kids. I hope you have a great week. Do the best you can. Know that we're never going to be perfect. We're always going to screw up sometimes, but we try to fail and fail forward. Have a great one. I'll talk to you again next week. Thanks for sticking around. If you got any questions you want answered on the show, or you just want some feedback or want to share some ideas, shoot me an email, dadsallinpodcast@gmail.com, or send me a DM on any of the socials @rechargedfamily. Thanks for listening.